Good morning, Book Dragons. Book Dragon Erin right here to chat about the top 20 books of the 50-something books I have read in 2021. These books, I feel, are ones that you need to read before you die because you will be so missing out if you don't read these books. The choice is yours, but I would recommend these books as my top 20 picks for you to read in the upcoming months of 2022. Starting off this video with my absolute favorite book of the entire year, we have Savage Vow by Zoe Blake. Gregor Ivanov is the perfect man. Tall, dark, handsome, tattooed, dominant, mysterious, and sexy as hell. If he proposed to me at a formal dinner, we would be married by midnight. Next, we have The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James. This book is my favorite time skip mystery of all time, and kudos to Simone for writing such an amazing book. I raved about this book to my mom, who is an even bigger book dragon than I am, and she loves this book as much as I do, and we have spent weeks raving about this book to each other, which is so cute. The next book is Her Vampire Prince by Inez Johnson. The plot is solid and sexy, and it took me all of 5 minutes to fall head over heels in love with Virius, even though he has a terrible fashion sense. I mean, he wears a toga from ancient Greece, 1800s cowboy boots, and a 1960s astronaut helmet. Virius, can we take off those clothes and make half-vampire babies? Another book that I would like to recommend is Welcome to the Dark Side by Gianna Darling. Booktuber More to Mary, who I will leave a link to in the description below, recommended this book, and I wasn't disappointed by this age gap romance that has me dying for more. And we have A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. A Court of Silver Flames is the next installment of the Court of Thorns and Roses series, and do I really need to explain more? Sarah J. Maas is on the highest tier for fantasy in my book, so what about yours? Another book that I would like to absolutely rave about is Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates. Darcy Coates is my new favorite author, and I can't get enough of her books. Doran of Winterborn stole my heart within a couple of chapters, and to be completely honest, it's really easy for me to fall for fictional men, but I can't actually remember a time when I fell in love with a real man. Another Darcy Coates novel to rave about is Ghost Camera. Again, all a book needs to say is written by Darcy Coates, and I will buy the book without a second thought. No crushes in this book, but it's still a thrilling read. Another skill of Darcy Coates, I feel, is writing amazing novels with simple and fairly similar titles, but each book is individual on its own. I mean, we have The Haunting of Ashburn House, The Haunting of Blackwood House, The Haunting of Rookwood House, and The Haunting of Lee Harker. All books have similar titles, but their plots are entirely different and so unique. I love her books. I will not stop talking about her books. And moving on to a favorite dark romance novel, we have Dangerous by Nora Ash. This book is steamy and beautiful and has left me dying for a sequel. I need to know the gender of Blaine and Mira's baby. Why the cliffhanger ending? It is destroying my insides. Oh, of course, leave us readers wanting more. Damn, you're good, Nora. My favorite Romeo and Juliet retelling is By Any Other Name by Natasha West, which is actually a Juliet and Juliet romance. And I loved the Happily Ever After for girlfriends Casey and Lane because they belong together and they both deserve their own Happily Ever After. Another book that I absolutely love was Lucky Girl by Jamie Pacton. This was my first low-key LGBT fiction novel. Jane is mentioned as bisexual only a few times in the book, but the plot doesn't solely focus on Jane's love life, thus a low-key LGBT fiction novel. It does, however, mention a really cute surfer girl as Jane's potential love interest in the epilogue. Please give me more Jamie. I need more to the story of the Lucky Girl plot. Now we have Fear Street Party Games by R.L. Stine. I know this book seems similar to a 1980s horror movie, but I still really loved reading this book. I might be partial to R.L. Stine, though, because I was obsessed with his books when I was a little kid, so reading the Fear Street relaunch series gave me that sort of kid on Christmas thrilled feeling. Now we have Sun and Moon, Ice and Snow by Jessica Day George. This is another Beauty and the Beast retelling, but it has a Nordic flair. I loved every moment in reading this fantastic and relatively unknown book. I think I am partial to this book as well because I do have Norse ancestry, and anything that has to do with Norway or Vikings or Norse mythology, I will devour it in minutes. Another book I absolutely loved is The Wildlands by Paul Grecki. Dystopian Alaska, cut off from the rest of the world at the end of the freaking world. If you're weird like me, you will enjoy the concept of this book as much as I did, so please, Paul Grecki, give me a sequel. Now we have Rough Love by Summer Cooper and Sienna Chance. This novel takes a little while to get into, but the wait is so worth it. It's a quick, steamy biker romance, so if you like quick read novels with steamy scenes involving bikers doing illegal stuff, then this book is definitely for you. Now we have Written with Regret by Ali Martinez. I would say that this book is a quote-unquote light, dark romance novel with a cliffhanger ending that makes you go WTF and has you needing, not just wanting, a sequel. Like, you need to read the book or face literary pain from a lack of knowing, or is it not knowing, what happens in the duology's conclusion. Now we have Quarantine the Loners by Lex Thomas. This book is Lord of the Flies meets a dystopian high school, and this series has received many mixed reviews, but I still really loved this book. If I read this book in the past, I would have hated it because I was in a totally different mindset then, but after reading it now, I absolutely love it. The sequel to The Loners, we have The Saints by Lex Thomas. This book is such a strong sequel to The Loners, but the thing that makes my creepy meter skyrocket is, well, let me explain quickly. Will falls in love with Lucy. Lucy falls in love with David. Lucy gives her V card to Will. Lucy later marries David. Lucy then has David's babies. Lucy and David's babies could potentially kill each other. If that aspect doesn't make your creepy meter go up, I don't know what will. Then we have Bled Dry by Erin McCarthy. I originally bought this series because the author and I had the same first name, but once I started reading the whole series, this whole intertwined storyline, not just in book 1, became my totally favorite vampire fiction series, topping Twilight and Vampire Diaries and the Vampire Academy series. Another book that I actually rave about is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. And yes, I know I sound like a broken record here when I say that the books and the movies were so different that Katniss seems like two different people in the same franchise, if that makes any sense at all. However, after rereading the Hunger Games trilogy, I actually grew to like it, and contrary to popular belief, I still think the movies were so much better than the books. And last but not least, we have The Queen by Kira Cass. The Selection series has been up and down for me, and the first book is great, but I loved The Heir the most, and that was about America Singer's daughter Eadlyn. And reading The Queen was cool because I got a good look at Maxon's mom's story, which was really quite unique and actually quite gentle. Plus, we get to see a slightly quote-unquote other side to King Clarkson when he was still a prince, but I still do not like him whatsoever. Anyway, that is all for today, so if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button to show some support, subscribe to my BookTube channel to get more videos like this, turn on those notifications to be notified when I have a brand new video uploaded. Keep on reading and have a great day, everyone!